Puniru's a very cute slime. One day, Kotaro was experimenting, and his homemade slime came to life. They decided to be best friends from that moment on, and they still are friends. They even used to sleep together in the same bed as kids. Now 7 years have passed since then. Both have grown up a significant amount. Kotaro jolts awake suddenly, exclaiming angrily Puniru's name as he yelps when Puniru awakes and sits up beside him while rubbing her eyes to shoo away the sleep. She tells him to quiet down because he is being noisy so early in the morning. He reminds her that he told her not to sleep in his bed. Puniru pouts angrily and asks Kotaro why he is being so fussy about sleeping together when they used to sleep together all the time. He sneaks a look at her and turns his back toward her as he answers that it is because of how she looks. She looks at him confused and lifts the blanket as she says that her body is just a slime. Kotaro freaks out as he yells that his bed is ruined and he smacks her head. Kotaro runs towards the school. He's just a common ordinary 8th grader, but his life became a mess because of Puniru. At school, he washes his hands at the sink and dries them with a towel as he expressed how grossed out he is because his hands still feel like slime. When he was walking in the hallway, someone calls out to him, and he turns around to look at the person in question. It is Miss Kurara, the beautiful senpai that everyone idolizes and someone who is Kotaro's crush. Flustered at the sight of her, he asks her what it is that she wants, and she tells him that the career assistant teacher is asking for him to show up in the office. He nods to her and Kurara walks away. Behind him, from the tap, Puniru comes out calling for him, and Kotaro freaks out, scared. He asks her why she came to the school, and she asks him whether she is not allowed to come to school. Instead, he should be thanking her because she brought his worksheet from home that he forgot to take with him. She demands him to thank her for it right now. He notices that it's the career option worksheet and realizes that is why he must be called to the office. He says to himself that he honestly does not have any plans for his future career. Puniru closes in on his face and asks who that cute person was that he was talking to just before, with a weird, smug look on her face, and he tells her to mind her business and to go home with an annoyed expression. Puniru angrily wails around and says that he cannot hide secrets from her. Kotaro looks down at the worksheet and sees that it is already filled out, and apparently his first choice for a career is Puniru Land. He freaks out when he looks at it and questions what Puniru Land is. Puniru, with a silly smile, tells him that she filled in the blanks for him, and it is her dream to build Puniru Land. When she finally surpasses the global popularity of Cuddy-chan, she's going to be the symbolism for the word cute. At Puniru Land, the visitors are going to be thrilled by her cuteness alone, and it is going to be filled with her and her merch. When she reaches the peak of her popularity, she's going to fly to the moon with her power of cuteness, and everyone is going to give her 1,000,000 yen each. When that day comes, they are going to have to cut ties and say goodbye to each other. Kotaro tells her to suit herself, and she tells him that even if he begged her to stay, she will keep him as her baggage handler, because she is definitely going to need help with that, yep. He yells that even if she yelled, that scenario is never going to happen, because she is going to be the one that is going to get out of his room instead. She has overstayed her welcome for too long while pointing at her. She counters him and says that he wants to turn her, the cutest slime in the entire world, into an orphan. He points to himself and asks her whether she knows that he is an 8th grader now and he is too old to be playing with slime now. He stumbles and bumps into her and they both fall down. Kotaro pulls his weight off of Puniru and he groans as he holds his head with one hand besides Puniru's head. Puniru makes a weird noise, and Kotaro blushes when he sees her under him. Puniru freaks out and tells him to move because she cannot move. Kotaro says that he should be the one saying that because he does not want anyone to see this. They both panic as Kotaro says that he hopes Kurara does not see him like this and notices something weird. He looks down and sees that Puniru's lower body has turned into gooey slime. He pushes her away, telling her not to move because if she moves, he's going to get absorbed by her. The inevitable happens as he is engulfed by her slime body. Inside, he thinks to himself that he finally has a dream. It is to stop being with her all the time. She scoffs and says that she is not going to be with him all the time, and certain not forever. He asks her why she came to school if that is not the case, and she says that it is because she had to bring him the worksheet he forgot at home. He tells her to get lost because she is being annoying. Kotaro, who is an 8th grader, is experiencing a sticky situation in his life. While his friends look at a magazine and ask each other which girl they like the most and what are their ideal types, they come up to Kotaro to ask the same question, and he ignores them, thinking that he is not interested in idols. Instead, he is focused on the reason his life is the way it is. It is because of Puniru. Just as he comes to this realization, Puniru slides the door to the class and enters with a happy pose, waving to him. His friends are surprised to see such a beautiful girl in their presence, and one of them says that she looks just like Miku, his favorite idol. Puniru calls out Kotaro's name while running towards him with open arms, and his friends are shocked and freak out that she knows Kotaro, which means Kotaro knows her. Kotaro has a pretty girl in his life, They stare at him and ask simultaneously if he already had a girlfriend. He betrayed them. He sweats as he tries to reason with them that she is not his girlfriend. Their relationship is not like that. Puniru jumps onto Kotaro and hugs his arm as she says that Kotaro seems to be captivated by his cuteness, and Kotaro tells her not to stick to him because she is all slimy and gross. She coos and tells him not to be mean to her because she is a cute idol now and puts her face against his. He yells at her not to stick to him because she is going to engulf him. When he gets out of her, he tells her that he already warned her so many times not to stick to him, but she never listens, and now he is covered in slime while she's a goop on the floor. He takes a napkin and starts wiping his body as he is covered in slime. He's grossed out by the slimy goo on his clothes and on his face and on his hair and everywhere. Puniru regains her form back and says that her cute body has now shrunk thanks to him, and now she's a small person. She blames him and he tells her that it was originally her fault in the first place. He yells at their friends that she is not his girlfriend and definitely not a cute girl because they have seen what she is now. She is a slime creature and her name is Puniru. His friends ignore him completely and sulk about the hug he just got because it was so strong and intense, and they are jealous of him. He freaks out asking what is wrong with them. He points at Puniru and asks her why she morphed to turn into a girl. It is all her fault, and she is the one who caused this mess for him. Puniru looks down and plays with her fingers and says that she changed her form to serve her cuteness to him because she has done so in the past too, and multiple times at that, but even after all her efforts, he never called her cute. That is why she chose a cool and pretty idol to get inspiration from and show him her cute side. His friend asks her if she can morph into it. He shows her a picture of an idol in the magazine he's holding and asks her if she could morph into the pretty girl who is a singer, and her name is Rika. Puniru asks him if Kotaro will call her cute if she morphs into that girl, and his friend nods as he turns to Kotaro, who has a flustered expression and says that he loves Rika as well. Puniru smiles sheepishly and says that she will change her form to the singer. She uses glue and borax water into her body to make more slime and grow and gives herself some big boobs. The boys stare at her confused when she asks them how her new cute form looked. They tell her that the boobs are a little big than the original reference, but she looks awesome either way or really spot on. One of his friends go up to her and ask if it is okay with her if he gets to touch her. Upon hearing this, Kotaro's eyes widen like saucers, and he freaks out at what he heard just now. Puniru looks at the boy with confusion on her face and agrees hesitant, and Kotaro, from behind her, tells her to say no and asks if she is being serious because she should not listen to them. They are playing with her. Puniru smacks 2 balls of slimes out of her chest and hands them to the 2 boys. Everyone else in the room stares at this absurdity, confusion, and dumbfound expression. The 2 boys hold each ball in their hands and wonder what they should do with the ball as they grasp at it and decide to fiddle with it instead. Puniru laughs happily while saying that she knew that schoolboys in 8th grade still like to play with slime, and she was not wrong. It is just Kotaro who likes to pretend to be a grown-up. She happily hums to herself, and beside her, Kotaro angrily says that she does not understand what just happened, and she is being stupid and naive. But thanks to her, the day is saved, and he has nothing to worry about. Puniru is a cute slime, a slime that came into existence when Kotaro made it in elementary school, and cute little Puniru was born. They have been good friends since then, and they are still good friends right now. Puniru jumps onto Kotaru as she calls out her name, and a surprised Kotaro looks back at her. When Puniru hugs Kotaru, she turns into slime and almost engulfs him inside her. He yells at her not to stick to him as he tries to get out of the sticky mess. They sit by the door as she clings to his arm and asks if he is going out, and Kotaru stands up after wearing his shoes and says that he is not going to take her with him if he goes outside. And as he opens the door to leave, he hears Puniru pointing fingers at him and calling him petty because he is not taking her with him, and that he is probably going to eat all the good food by himself. And upon hearing this, he turns back to look at her with a smug expression and says that the place he is going to is not a place for a child like her. He is going to an adult playground, which turns out to be the Cutie-chan Cafe. Kotaru waits with a serious expression on his face in the cafe, and when his order of Cutie-chan Cafe Latte finally comes to his table, his expression loosens up and he smiles sheepishly at the look of the latte. He is in love with Cutie-chan and he can't tell anyone about this hobby, but he is happy to be surrounded by Cutie-chan. He takes pictures of his latte and holds it up with Sniffit. All of a sudden, Puniru emerges from his coffee and scowls at him while calling him a liar. Surprised at her sudden appearance, Kotaru asks her what she is doing in the cup, while Puniru just says that she was right and he did go out to get food for himself. She looks at the Cutie-chan goods he has bought for himself, and she takes hold of them while Kotaru looks awkwardly at it and tries to give explanation for himself. Puniru starts to smack him repeatedly while calling him greedy, even though he has her who is way cuter. Kotaru, with an annoyed expression, says that there is no way that a slime like her is cute. This is exactly why he did not want to bring her along, because she always creates fuss about every little thing and does not leave him alone. He squeezes her back into the cup and sees the waiter staring at him and waiting for him to order something. The waiter opens up the menu and says that the cutie set he bought is only available to be sold to couples, and he cannot buy it by himself. Only people who come to the store as a pair will be served because that is the rule. Kotaru freaks out and panics about how he came here, even though he was ashamed and embarrassed because he wanted the extra goodies he would get, but the content is for women and children and too harsh for men like him. They refuse to serve him. He gets the idea that Puniru is a girl and takes his hand off of his cup and calls out to her in a soft manner. And Puniru in the cup turns to look at him while she is pouting, and he asks her if she wants to eat pancake. And she tells him that rather than pancakes, she's in the mood for cream soda, and he stands up excitedly and says that he will get her some later, while internally he thinks how annoying she's being right now. She smiles and leaps out of the cup, asking him to leave it to her, and she will help him. She mixes some borax water and laundry starch together in her body and grows in size and morphs into a grown-up version of herself. The waiter sees them together and says that he did not know they were a couple, and he will bring the order to them right away, and Kotaru laughs awkwardly. When the waiter leaves, he turns to her and says that he would not mind if she had used her normal form, but she tells him that she cannot afford to lose in front of her rival, who was Cutie-chan. The waiter brings the order, and Kotaru gets excited with stars in his eyes. And as he is about to dig into his food, the waiter stops him and tells him that he apologizes for inconvenience, but he cannot eat until the two of them take a picture of hugging each other. It is the rule of the restaurant. Kotaru cries as he whines that it takes so much effort and trouble to get the limited Cutie-chan. Puniru asks him why he thinks hugging her is a trouble, while he thinks to himself that he wishes it was Karara who was with him right now instead, and he would be hugging her. He awkwardly hugs Puniru, and Puniru hugs him with passion. Kotaru freaks out and hugs her too hard and separates her into half-all. While yelling, he eats his order quickly and hurriedly, leaves the store with two halves of Puniru and his merch along with him in his hands. At home, Puniru laughs about how everyone was looking at her and how embarrassed she is, but because she was cute enough to be more popular than Cutie-chan, that is why everyone was staring at her. While Kotaro on the bed lets out exasperated sigh and blames her that it was her fault, he could not enjoy his meal to the fullest. He tells her to go away. A guy leans against the door of the class as he calls out to Karara with a smug look on his face. Karara notices and entertains him. Kotaru sees the two of them interacting and grits his teeth in jealousy and curses the guy for being friendly with Karara and being on first-name basis with her to show how close and casual they are. The guy's name is Nanpa Yusuke, who is very flirtatious and annoying in his class. He heard that the guy was quite the playboy, and he never expected him to talk to his crush, the most beautiful girl in the school, Karara. He hears Yusuke ask Karara if she is free after school and wants to hang out together. He tells her that he has also invited some of his friends with them so they can have some fun together. Kotaru curses the guy to himself, saying that the guys need to get his sense of distance checked because he is standing too close to Karara. Surely she must be feeling uncomfortable and wanted to get away from him as soon as possible. Kirara smiles shyly and apologizes that today she has to go to Children's Center because she usually helps out there, and she already planned to go today. Kotaru, upon hearing this, gets happy because Yusuke got turned down by the everlasting beauty Kirara. But to his surprise, Yusuke says that the Children's Center looks like fun, and he wants to go help out too. Kotaru sobs as he thinks that going to the Children's Center is the last thing Yusuke would think about. Kirara says that the two of them can go together to the Children's Center. Kotaru sobs as he tries to tell Kirara not to be deceived by a guy like him. He sees the two of them walking away together, going farther and farther away, until Kotaru is left alone in agony, knelt to the floor as he once again curses Yusuke, saying that he uses cheap tactics to deceive Kirara to have his way and spend time with her. His friends approach him from behind and tell him to give it up, because men like him are losers, and losers don't stand a chance against popular guy. Kotaro goes up to the two and tells them not to include him with them. They tell him that he has Puniru, so he should be making such a fuss about this stuff. And he tells them that having Puniru is nothing good and does not help him at all. While both of them reminisce about the time Puniru came to their class, and they both exclaim how do they miss Puniru. Suddenly, Kotaro stops in his tracks and thinks for a second before sneaking off to the water taps, and then he calls out Puniru's name to lure her out. When he sees that there is no response whatsoever, he decides to use her weakness and points out, while yelling at something cute, Puniru suddenly shows up, saying that hiding can't conceal her cuteness. After all, Kotaru turns to her and blames her for following him, and Puniru sweats nervously because she messed up and was supposed to stay hidden. so that Kotaru won't find out she followed him. Kotaru says that he wants to mess up the relationship between the two people earlier, and he needs her help because she is good with that kind of thing. The kind where she messes up stuff. She pouts and turns away from him as she says that she has no reason to do something of the sort, and she would rather not. But Kotaru tells her to go seduce Yusuke with her cuteness, because if anyone can do it, it must be her. Puniru smiles at the word cute and looks at him with a naughty expression because he thinks she is cute. She says that if it is her cuteness, then she can do anything in the world. Anything is possible with cuteness, and thankfully, she has the ability to do it. Kotaru thinks how simple-minded she thinks, but is happy at the fact that she is willing to help him. She turns to him and asks him what seduce means, and instead of explaining, he tells her to just listen to what he says and follow his instruction. Puniru gets to work and adds borax water and laundry starch to her body to grow. But today, she adds extra special something. She adds a little glitter to the mix and morphs into a gyaru version of her. With glittery hair and short skirts, at the school, Yusuke is walking down the hallway and spots Puniru in her new form, who calls out to him and asks him if he wants to play with her. He looks at her with a surprised expression and goes inside the room. When he's inside, from the outside, Kotaru takes the door shut so that he's unable to escape the room because the room is now sealed. He cries proud tears as he takes pride in the fact that he saved and protected Karara from a playboy like Yusuke. From inside the room, he hears a high-pitched shriek, which must be from Puniru. He hears noises of Puniru, asking what Yusuke is doing to her, and he responds to her that it's fine, and Puniru says to keep his dirty hands off of her. Kotaru's internal conscience awakens, but he calls himself down that Puniru is not a girl. She is not even a human. She is just a slime. So it is okay. Nothing weird is going to happen to her. But her judgment gets the better of him, and he opens the door to help Puniru out and gets knocked back by the two of his friends, pushing him and asking if Puniru is okay in a hurry. When they see inside the room, they see that Yusuke is doing various combat positions and moves with Puniru, absolutely having fun with her. When he's done, he tidies her up and wipes away his sweat. Kotaro's friend says that the techniques that Yusuke was using just now are Mansura's main character's battle suras. It is some kind of character from a kid's anime. A slimy Puniru rushes towards Kotaru while sobbing that she is immodest now, and Yusuke holds her again while he asks Kotaru if Puniru is his slime, and that he has never seen a slime so big and it's amazing. He asks Kotaru if he is also a fan of Mansura. He high-fives Kotaru and says that he is happy because there is no one at the school who he can talk about this stuff with. He goes to the children, care to have these talks with the kids. Meanwhile, Karara waits at the children's center for Yusuke to show up as she reads stories to the kids. A lady thanks Karara for finding her daughter for her, and Karara says that she likes children, so it is okay. The lady turns to her daughter and scolds her for always getting lost. She tells her daughter to say thank you to Karara for helping her. The kid tries to talk but mumbles and calls out for her mom, while the mom calls out her name in a worried manner. At the school, Puniru yells Kotaru's name and tells him to look at her. She made merchandise of herself. She wants her merch to be sold at the school store, along with the other good. Kotaru seems unimpressed and calls her out for following him to school again. She puts a piece of finger-shaped slime on his desk, and Kotaru tells her not to put anything threatening and scary at the store, while his friends say that they will buy whatever she puts in the store. Kotaru tells her not to make stuff like this because it is childish and stupid, and instead tells her to follow Karara and become like her. Puniru looks at him confused, and Kotaru puts on a movie on the TV about Karara Mami. She is everyone's dream at their school. When Karara is asked about her ideal type, she says that she loves children, and she is working hard to protect children's future. The movie ends, but Kotaru is left in tears. Puniru asks what is up with the video. He tells her that the Karara fan club published this DVD at the school store, and it available for sale. From behind, his friends nod as well and say that they also bought the DVD. Puniru nods and acknowledges that Karara is a formidable rival. Kotaru boasts about how Karara is kind and works hard for her. She is the kind of personality that all women or men, no matter the gender of all ages, admire, and she is loved by each and every person on the earth. She's totally opposite of Puniru, who he calls to be greedy and self-centered. One of his friends says that Karara is innocent and popular, but she have never been with anyone else. Kotaru says that he would never let anyone date her, but his friend says that there has to be more to it than just not being able to date. Kotaru says that he thinks there's just no one that catches her eyes. Yusuke enters the class from behind and calls out to Kotaru saying that he found slime for sale at the school store and tells him to check it out. He wonders out loud that if he's pure, righteous, and honest, whether he would be a good boyfriend for Karara, and his friends sigh amongst themselves and mock him for thinking that he is a match for someone like her, who is totally out of his league. they shouldn't go too crazy with their fantasy. Yusuke hears their talk and calls out to Kotaru with a serious and a little bit of a smug expression, and Kotaru questions his intentions. He always thought that Yusuke was a childish guy, but he must be after Kirara after all, because she's pretty and cute and innocent. Who would not want to be with her and fight for her? Yusuke asks Kotaru to go to the schoolyard and play dodgeball together during break. Kotaru says that they only have 10 minutes to go there and play and then leave and clean up. They don't have enough time. Yusuke runs away while yelling that if Kotaru does not come with him, he is going to take Kirara with him. Kotaru is left in the hall sobbing that Kirara is so nice that she would accept an invitation from a guy like him. He has to show her that he is a better guy than Yusuke. He brightens up as he gets an idea and turns to Puniru to see her already holding up a hand towards him. He asks her what the hand is for, and she says that the payment for one request is 1 cream soda. Puniru has a cute elementary schooler look going on as she shows off her cute brand new school bag. She mixed starch paste in as well, and she also bought the cute starch Puniru at the school store. She holds out the small thing in her hand to show it to him. Kotaru tells her that she has to pretend to be lost in the school as if she does not know the way at all as soon as she sees Kirara. Then, when she has Kiara's attention, he's going to show up and help her out, and Kirara is going to see how smart he is when he helps her out of trouble. And when she sees such a scenario, Kirara will fall in love with him. Puniru laughs to herself when she recalls these words from Kotaru and says that she will show an amazing performance. She spots Kirara down the hallway and starts sobbing while running straight ahead, crying out that she is lost and she doesn't know where she is. She even calls for her mama. Kirara notices her and tries to help her, but she freaks out and is unable to say anything except for, "Oh my!" Her expressions change into a creepy one. She lifts up Puniru in her hands and asks her in a baby tone what she is doing in a place such as this. She babies her to no end and tells her that she can call Kirara mommy and shoves candy down her throat along with a pacifier and a toy used for babies. She acts like a crazy obsessive mom, asking her what she wants to eat for dinner and if she would be fine with eating curry because she will cook it for her with love. Puniru tries to run away and calls Kotaru to help her out, and he comes running, but Kirara pushes him away, calling him a suspicious man that Puniru needs to stay away from. Later, Kirara apologizes and says that her motherly instincts are too strong and she cannot control them when she's in front of kids. Kotaru only seems even more awestruck by her, deeply in love with her, though while his friends question his sanity. But at least that day, all the Puniru merch at school was sold out. Kirara shows up at their classroom door and calls for Kotaru, who notices her and immediately stands up and asks her what she is doing in his classroom. Kirara coughs nervously as she says that she just had to see him. With a coy expression on her flushed face, she swings her body and tries to say something. The weird vibe makes Kotaru think that Kirara likes him and is about to confess. Kirara finally overcomes her shyness to say that she wonders if she can see Puniru again. This has Kotaru diving headfirst into the ground due to unexpectedness. Kotaru goes back to his seat and says that Thing is not at school today, and Kirara questions why with sadness in her. Kotaru recalls the event that occurred a while ago, where he found his lunchbox completely empty, and asks out loud for the person who ate his lunchbox. He turns to Puniru because only she could be the culprit. Puniru just scoffs and turns away while asking for proof that she is the one who ate it. He grabs her by the collar and she freaks out and asks what he is doing. As he lifts her shirt up to reveal her slimy, transparent stomach, holding his food items, he says that he knew it was her who ate his lunch. Puniru sticks her tongue out at him for being right. Kotaru calls her out for being just a slime, but she has a big appetite more than anyone else, and asks what she is going to do for his lunch now, because she ate it all, and he is hungry. She nods and says that she will take it out of her body, but he stops her saying that it is gross. He reminds her that he always tells her not to follow him to school, but she does it anyway all the time, and she also ate all of his lunch on her own. He says harsh stuff to her, how whenever he is with her, he is always having a bad time. He tells her to get out of there. Puniru takes his words to heart and almost tears up, but leaves angrily while yelling that she also does not want to be with him. Now in the present, Kirara acknowledges that the two of them had a fight, and Kotaru says that they fight all the time, so there is nothing to worry about. Yusuke shows up with a huge lunchbox in his hand, asking Kotaru if he wants his lunch. And when Kotaru opens up, it turns out to be something completely different. He is still without lunch. When Kotaru comes home after school, he sees his parents at the dining table as his mother sets down the silverware. He asks them where Puniru is, and his dad looks up from the newspaper he's reading and says that Puniru has not come home yet. He goes to his room about to sleep while he's ready for bed, and sees that Puniru is actually missing from his room, and is nowhere to be seen, even in the bathroom. He finds that he misses her even when he goes to school the next morning. Both of his friends sob while calling out for Puniru to show up and yelling out where she is. Kotaru tells them to shut up, but his friends say that he was too harsh with her. Kirara also says how worried she is for Puniru, and Kotaru just shrugs it off, saying that Puniru is a slime monster, so There is nothing to be worried about. She is hiding nearby and laughing at the ones who are worried about her. He turns around with hunched shoulders and says that he is going back to class. Meanwhile, Puniru is locked inside a glass tank in a lab with chemicals around and a crazy scientist who says that he never expected to find a slime life form in the school. Now he no longer has to live miserable life where he's a teacher working with brats. He will take revenge on those in the academy who expelled him. When he caught Puniru, thought he chopped her into little pieces and put it in the box, but it returned to the small form it is now, and that in itself was strange. He wonders if the slime will turn to its original size if he adds more slime to her. When he actually does it, Puniru grows in size, and he realizes how interesting he flings her around to test how she behaves. Puniru freaks out as she sobs about how her life will end in a place like this, and it was never something she imagined. All of a sudden, Kotaru yells out her name and runs to carry her falling body. When he finally catches her, she breaks into pieces and she happily calls out his name. But Kotaru cuts her off while calling her stupid and yelling at her that she has no idea how much trouble she has caused for people. He continues to call her names and she pouts and tells him that she is a cute slime and she was going to be fine even if he did not come. She looks back at him and sees the serious expression on his face. She smiles, genuinely happy that he came to look for her. She tells him that she knows that she is so cute that he would want to find her no matter what. All of a sudden, Karara shows up while hugging Puniru very hard, while crying that she is so relieved that Puniru is okay. Puniru whines that she will tear her up into 2 pieces. Kotaro's friends also show and say that they thought he went to class, and Kotaro freaks out. Karara goes up to him and with a flushed face he says that just now he was really cool and it has been on her mind. He blushes and he again wonders whether she likes him, but Kirara only feels relief for leaving Puniru in his hands. She asks him to take good care of Puniru, and Kotaru again says that Puniru always messes things up, and Puniru also fights back. While the mad scientist looks for Puniru, saying, "Had some kid took his precious test subject," Nanpo and Kotaru are in the classroom where Nanpo addresses Hiroshiu by using a nickname, Doc Mado, to say that he is too loud, and in reply, Hiroshi forbids him from calling him by his nickname. He further advises them to take their supplementary exams a bit seriously. Mr. Hiroshi sighs, saying that his precious time is being wasted by these. Puniru slams the door and asks Kotaru how much longer he will make her wait. But when she sees Hiroshi, they both point at each other, surprisingly. Puniru puts an allegation on Hiroshi that he locked her up. Kotaru questions Hiroshi if it's true what she is saying. Mr. Hiroshi again points at Kotaru to remind him not to call him by nickname. He rhetorically asks whether Kotaru knows this slime creature and is in contact with. Kotaru claims that he made slime from which Puniru was born accidentally 7 years ago. Hiroshi is surprised that a kid who sleeps through most of his classes has created a slime life form. Puniru teases Kotaru that he should do better in his class. Hiroshi asks Kotaru to give Puniru to him for his research purposes. Hiroshi further adds that he has been working on autonomous slime. If he could create a robot that can change its form and shape, unlike conventional robots, it would give them lead to further advances in science. Hiroshi's fellow researchers responded to Hiroshi that although this is interesting research, not when you have not paid your membership fee. They further added that they don't understand why doesn't he pay his fees. Kotaru shouts and says to Hiroshi to just pay his fees. Hiroshi changes the topic and brings about homework, saying to Kotaru that you guys also forget your homework over and over again. Karara is also here and calls Hiroshi a bit weird. Puniru drinks something and is delighted that it's sandy and has weird taste. Kotaru and Hiroshi shout at her and say that's iron sand. Kirara-senpai asks her to spit it, reminding her that they have forbidden her to eat everything she finds. Whereas everyone's struggling, Nanpa plays with Puniru's face with a magnet and gets fascinated. Puniru starts to feel wrong in her body all of a sudden and gets out of control. She gets transformed into some devilish form creature. Kirara-senpai shudders and asks her what's wrong. She will get cold if she exposes her body. Puniru claims that she is an evil Puniru, and anyone who defies her will bear consequences. Kotaru frantically says, "You are joking, stop it already." Puniru sharpens the Nanpa's pencil tail side and he starts to cry. Hiroshi pulls out a scientific theory and points at Puniru that she accidentally took in the magnet and her personality is changed by magnetic force. Hiroshi gets amused with Slime's power and demands more. Puniru wanders here and there and starts misbehaving. She gets into the male's changing room and embarrasses. She then opens the doors of the washroom and makes fun of people. Puniru confronted how bad did she do. Hiroshi shows disappointment in Puniru that she is not exploiting her potential as a slime and encourages her to continue. Kotaro frantically said that she had been alive for only 7 years. Kirara-senpai shouts at her and asks her to stop and be a good girl. Puniru teasingly laughs and says, "You keep saying that." She further added that you keep playing a good girl because that's what would want. But the truth is, you want to be a bad girl too. Kotaro denies Puniru and asks, why would our kind senpai would think like that? Kirara-senpai apologizes to Kotaru and tells him that I am not as kind as you think I am. Puniru encourages Kirara-senpai to unleash her desire and do bad things. Kirara again apologizes for the bad things she does. She hugs Puniru and tells her that she looks cute when she does bad things. She questions her if she is in her rebellious phase. She introduces herself as Puniru's mommy and tells her that she is happy to see her grown up and will do anything for her. Puniru screeches that what are these desires? She is being squeezed out by Kirara-senpai. The magnet falls off her body and returns to her original form. Kirara-senpai starts crying and says that she is a bad parent who can't even tell what's wrong and spoils her. Puniru thanks Kirara-senpai. Kotaru is delighted and says the mother's love is universal. Hiroshi picks the magnet up and everything is back to normal. Nanpa shouts at Kotaru to hang out, at which he falls backwards, which Nanpa finds nice. Excitedly, Nanpa tells Kotaru that today is Children's Day and they're doing an event nearby. Kotaru gets annoyed and tells Nanpa to not come to his house as he isn't interested, and wonders how Nanpa knew where he lived. Nanpa lets Kotaru know that Mommy will be helping there, which grabs Kotaru's attention as he asks for more details. At the sword fighting event, Mommy asks Yusuke and Puniru if Kawaii is their chaperone. But before Kotaru can give a reply, Puniru says that she's Kotaru's chaperone, and lets it slip that Kotaru told her that the winner of the event will receive a prize from her. Kotaru tries to shut her up, but is too late. Kirara's sister announces that if they win, they will be able to go out with her, and Kirara doesn't object to the idea, which fires up Kotaru. Both Kotaru and Nanpa excitedly now enter the event. Kirara lets them know that middle schoolers can't participate, which shatters the boys' dream. The reason is that she won last year, which caused them to tighten the tournament rules, and she's in the event this year, only as an exhibition slot against the winner. Nanpa sits disheartened while a few kids try to cheer him up. Meanwhile, Kotaru already has a plan and asks Puniru to be in the tournament and get him the right to play against Kirara. He incentivizes her by pointing out that the winner will get a discount coupon for the shopping district and promises to buy her cream soda with it. Puniru now goes to sign up as she plans to let everyone know how cute she is. The two reach the girls' bracket waiting room and see that the girls are super jacked up. One of the girls challenges Puniru to a duel, at which Puniru panics as she sees that the girl is super strong. The two ask Kirara if the girls are really grade school. Kirara says that all the powerhouses have heard about her and comments that the strongest motherhood on earth is cute. Kotaru points out to Puniru that the boys' bracket appears to have weaker competitors and tells her to be a man. Puniru complains, but Kotaru tells her that she doesn't have a gender, so it doesn't matter what she looks like. Puniru still doesn't agree, as she doesn't want to be cool or tough, but only wishes to be cute. Kotaru asks her if she wants to be in the girls' bracket then. Puniru caves in and uses laundry starch, borax water, and a melamine sponge, and turns into a cute boy. The girls see him and fall for his cuteness. Puniru comments that even when he looks like a boy, there's no hiding the cuteness that radiates from him. Puniru's opponent calls him weak, but Puniru jests, saying he will show the strength of his cuteness. The boy swings once and splits Puniru into two, at which he begins crying that he can't come back together now. Kotaro gives a drink to Puniru and says to go back home after it. Puniru asks Kotaru what's going on, but he replies that it's just the same as ever. Puniru says that with his current form, it's just like the old days, and teases Kotaru, saying he's trying to flatter him because he's a prince. Kotaro calls Puniru an idiot. Puniru can understand a little bit why Kotaru is so cold these days, but can't figure out what exactly it is. Kotaru holds his mascot Cutie-chan in his hand and calls her cute. He then imitates her voice to thank himself. Kotaru flirts with Cutie secretly so no one finds out. Suddenly a girl shouts that she saw Kotaru do that. This girl was Okanega Arisu, who is an egotistical girl in the same class as him. She then teasingly asks Kotaru if he was looking at a Cutie keychain. Kotaru panics at being caught by her of all people and thinks that his middle school life is now over, but gets shocked at Arisu thanking him for taking her products. A surprised Kotaru asks her what she means by that. The maid with her explains that she's the granddaughter of Nasuki, who is the creator of Cutie, or in other words, the heir to the Cutieland Corporation. Puniru butts in and accuses her of being her competition. Kotaru is shocked at Puniru following him. Puniru tells Kotaru that he has her and calls herself cuter than Cutie, but Kotaru calls her a freak. Arisu laughs at Puniru and claims that her run rune is 100 million times cuter than her. Puniru is confused at this, and Kotaru also has no idea what Arisu means by that. The maid berates Kotaru and tells him that Runrune is an original character created by Arisu in her childhood, but Kotaru still has no idea. Arisu shows Runrune to them and reveals that she plans to ask her grandfather to hand over Cutie's throne to them. Kotaru thinks that Runrune is cute, which makes Puniru jealous. Arisu offers to give Kotaru some merchandise if he wants to, but he declines, saying he doesn't want something so cute. But Puniru still calls him a cheater. The teacher now enters the class and tells them that the bell has already rung, so they should put away the toys that have nothing to do with class. The maid throws a knife at him and tells him that Runrune isn't a toy, but is the young lady's best friend. The teacher now shouts at Arisu to not bring maids to school. Arisu challenges Puniru to test who's cuter, and Puniru accepts her challenge while the teacher tries to get their attention. Puniru turns into a fluffy cute lady. Arisu sets the condition that the loser will have to obey the winner for the rest of their life. But Puniru is sure that she is cute enough to win by a large margin. She plans to win and ask Arisu to build Puniru land, so Kotaru will recognize her and call her cute. But she is surprised to see that all the attention has been captured by Arisu, who just created Run-Run land in the schoolyard and added a 1 billion yen worth slime pool and offers everyone to play in it. Arisu now claims victory, but Puniru points out that she didn't use Run-Run's charm, which is unfair. But Arisu acts bratty, who just wanted to see that look of frustration on Puniru, but is surprised that Puniru happily jumps into the pool to play. Arisu tries to grab Puniru out, telling her to not go in without permission, but she pouts, saying it's not fair that she's the only one left out. Seeing the two, the crowd thinks that round 2 is slime wrestling. Suddenly, Arisu realizes that Puniru is bigger than before and panics as Puniru keeps growing. Puniru has just absorbed all the slime and is now turned into a giant. Puniru wonders why everyone looks so small, at which Arisu shouts that she didn't take all this seriously. Everyone begins to run away as Puniru begins to swallow up the school to create a Puniru land, but Kotaru tries to stop her. Later that night, Arisu cries to Hudai that she can't let Puniru get away with this, and cries asking why her Run-Run won't come to life like Puniru, and gets jealous of her. Hudai also cries and apologizes to Arisu, as she didn't know how everything was making her feel, and leaves swearing to do everything she can do to fulfill her wish. The next morning at school, Kotaru and Puniru are surprised by the commotion, and they get shocked to see Arisu announce that when she woke up, her Run-Run had turned into a human. In the past, when Kotaru and Puniru would end up fighting over the last piece of candy, they would use rock, paper, scissors, but Kotaru would point out that Puniru can't play the game, considering the way her hands are, but determined she would create a hand from her slime. Kotaru cries from embarrassment after calling his teacher mom by accident, but Kurara would comfort him by saying that she also did that, and recalls how she called her teacher mom, when the teacher asked who can solve the question, at which everyone laughed at her. A coworker asks Mado if he didn't bring his bento in that, and he said that he forgot to take his bento out last night, which made his wife mad. Kotaru, after hearing that, gets surprised that his teacher's married at, which his teacher gets mad, saying it's none of Kotaru's business. But Kotaru complains that Mado doesn't pays what he owes. Mado refuses to use his brain for such unimportant things, but Kotaru doesn't care, and asks him to pay his dues. Mado's coworker points out that Mado still celebrates his wife's birthday and their anniversary, which further shocks Kotaru. Nanpa asks Kotaru if he read the month's Koro Koro, which annoys Kotaru, who asks Nanpa if he reads any other magazine. Nanpa replies that he does, at which Kotaru asks if he can read them, at which Nanpa hands 2 spin-offs of Koro Koro, which annoys Kotaru. Kotaru asks Nanpa for something that's not an A5 size, at which Nanpa hands him a large Koro Koro magazine, which further drives Kotaru insane. Okanega Arisu smugly says that her grandfather is the founder of Cutie Land, the great Kawaii Nosuke, and her father's the CEO of a famous toy company, so she's a super spoiled girl, so can get anything she wants. When she heard about Puniru, the slime coming to life, she became jealous because her friend Run-Run had no life in it and wished for it to become human, so she could play so many things. But when she woke up in the morning, her Run-Run had turned into a human. It's revealed that Run-Run worked hard to become a human being. Arisu boasts her Run-Run being so cute and gets excited at Run-Run doing the cutie-chan dance and claims that it's outshining Puniru, but Puniru points out that Run-Run is just shaking its behind. Puniru claims she can do a cute dance and tells her to watch. She mixes borax water and laundry starch and turns into a cute dancer. She then challenges Run-Run to a hip-hop dance battle, but Run-Run crashes into her, causing some of the slime to get on it, which makes Puniru and Arisu angry. An angry Arisu asks Puniru what she's doing, but Puniru angrily asks her to apologize. Run-Run says that it was fun, which makes Puniru panic. Arisu becomes happy at Run-Run being both cute and smart. Kotaru sees the whole interaction and recognizes that the lines and moves are the same as those in Talking Cutie-chan. Arisu is surprised that Kotaru knows about her company's greatest product, but she too comes to the realization that the product and Run-Run have similar voices. Hudai lets her know that Run-Run is the successor of Cutie, so they have some resemblance. Hudai apologizes to Arisu in her thoughts as she thinks that this was the only way to grant her wish, and she must stick with the story that the transformation was magic. At the same time, Nanpa comes across Run-Run, and in his excitement loudly calls it a toy. And Kurara, seeing how nice Run-Run is, asks Arisu when she bought a new toy, which kind of makes Arisu sad. And she looks at Hudai with teary eyes. Hudai tells Arisu to not listen to them, and gives the excuse that the magic doesn't work outside the theme park. Kotaru is surprised that Arisu wasn't pretending, but actually believes the charade. The boy gets excited at their school being the yearly WHF host, but Hudai thinks that the kid is scatterbrained. Arisu asks Run-Run if it's a human, but Run-Run replies that it's a toy. which makes her sad, so she runs away, saying this isn't the Run she wanted. Run exclaims that the riddle is over and that it was fun. Puniru sees this and feels sad that Run became human only for Arisu. Kotaro gets worried that Puniru is still the only one who believes that. Puniru asks Kotaro what he thinks about her. Hearing this question, he begins sweating and panicking, wonders why he's being like that, and tells himself that it's a simple question, so he should answer it, and wonders if he should just say that she's as cute as her usual self. Flustered, he tells Puniru not to ask questions like that suddenly. Kirara appears behind Kotaro and tells him to not be so mean to Puniru, and that he should answer her properly and seriously. Kotaro answers to Puniru that she's cute. Puniru says that it's natural for someone to think that she's a slime, which confuses Kotaro. Puniru says that she's a cute talking slime toy, and Run is also a talking toy, so they both are the same, and wonders why Arisu is sad with a toy. Kotaro shouts at Puniru that she's a stupid single slime cell, at which Puniru also calls him an idiot, at which Nanpa teases Kotaro that he likes mommy. Kirara is glad that Puniru got to play dolls with Okanega. Puniru tells Run that she'll help it, and Arisu make up, which makes Run happy. Now the question remains that will Arisu and Run become friends ever again? Smiling cheerfully, Arisu holds out some cake, declaring that it is time for Run to have a snack. Hudai, dressed up in the toy outfit, enthusiastically agrees, calling Arisu young lady. Annoyed, Arisu bonks her head, demanding that she call her Arisu-chan instead of young lady. Determined to make the young lady happy, Hudai complies with her request, calling her Arisu-chan. Arisu laughs in satisfaction as nearby classmates watch them in confusion. Some commotion from the back of the class draws the attention of the students, and they turn to see an unusual sight. Puniru and Nanpa are locked in a tug-of-war, fighting desperately to claim Run for themselves, but neither one is backing down. Kotaro watches their tussle from the side as some classmates approach him and ask what's going on. Suddenly, the spiteful rivals turn to Kotaro to involve him in the fight. Feeling entitled, Nanpa reminds Kotaro that he said he could have Run, while Puniru argues that Nanpa has no delicacy and doesn't deserve Run, tired from their shenanigans. Kotaro explains that these two have been fighting over Run for way too long. It would have been sad to leave it at school, so they decided to leave it at someone's house. The classmates understand the situation, and one of them immediately jumps onto Run, exclaiming that she is his, leaving Kotaro defeated at the absurd situation. The classmate exclaims that only great things are going to happen after saving an abandoned robot. Clearly lost in his delusion, he claims that he wants to trigger the feelings of love in the cute robot. His friend calls him out for trying to replace the human connection of a girlfriend with a robot, but he proclaims that he is not making do. In fact, he proudly declares that as long as someone is pretty, whether human or robot, he will treat her like a girl. His friends mock him, and trying to prove them wrong, he immediately confesses to Run, asking it to go out with him, but all he gets is a silly dance in response from the robot, because it doesn't understand feelings, although it's probably more than what he ever got from a real girl. He cries about getting dumped as soon as he asked her out and sulks in a corner. Suddenly, Puniru gets an idea. She states that Run feelings matter the most, so they should just let it decide whose house it wants to stay at. Determined to get what she wants, Puniru confidently asks the robot whether it wants to stay at her house or Nanpa. Not understanding her question, the robot randomly asks to play games, but Puniru thinks that it means that they should settle their argument with games. Overwhelmed, Kotaro is left confused when Run said anything of the sort, as Puniru proudly proclaims that she can handle it. Combining borax, laundry starch, and gold sequin, Puniru transforms into an attractive, rich, and mature lady. Run is completely unimpressed when suddenly a bunny girl outfit appears on Run's body. Kotaro struggles to keep up with what's happening as Puniru explains that she used her slime to dress Run up in a cute way. Looking scandalous, Puniru confidently confronts Nanpa, asking if he is ready to compete with her for Run, and he doesn't back down either. He wears a smug grin and proclaims that he is ready. Confused at his confidence, Puniru wonders what's going on. It seems she forgot that Nanpa plays games with professionals every day after school. He beats her easily as she is left to weep in the shame of defeat. She whines, begging for another round as Nanpa jumps around in celebration of his victory. The classmate reassures Puniru that Nanpa will take good care of Run if he is that enthusiastic about winning. Putting his trust in Nanpa, Kotaro allows him to keep Run at his house, but after a while they visit to find Run nearly dysfunctional from numerous stickers pasted all over it. Kotaro yells at Nanpa for not treating his friend's toys with care, and Nanpa replies that he made it cooler. Once again, it was decided that Run was to be kept in the classroom. The school festival season draws near, and the enthusiasm of the students can be felt through the air. Tired and dejected, Kotaro sighs loudly, proclaiming that preparing for school festivals is a real pain. Puniru accompanies him as she joyously carries Run around. The robot pessimistically predicts that their future looks like bad luck, But that doesn't weight Puniru down, who carries it around with the same enthusiasm nonetheless. Concerned, Kotaru tells Puniru that she doesn't have to carry Runrun around the school. But Puniru exclaims that Runrun would love to help them out with the festival preparations. She lovingly calls out to the robot, which is seemingly lost in a daze, predicting Cutie-chan fortune and claiming that it is now turned to good fortune. Worried about Runrun, Puniru asks Kotaru why it keeps repeating the same phrases over and over, and Kotaru replies that that's just how Runrun is. Looking for the hurdles for the festival, Kotaru enters the gym storage room to discover something shocking. There on the floor of the storage room is Karara, seemingly passed out. Worried for her safety, the pair rush towards Karara to check up on her. Because of their frantic calls, Karara wakes up to see Puniru and immediately grabs onto her, proclaiming that he hadn't seen a kid for years. She tightly grabs onto Puniru as she struggles to get free and tells Karara to calm down. After a while, Karara calms down and thanks the pair for saving her. Karara explains that she was feeling weak and anemic, so she snuck out to get some rest in the storage room. Perhaps it was too relaxing as she ended up passing out like a baby. Concerned for her health, Kotaru asks her why she felt anemic. Karara sighs and explains that she has been too busy to visit the children's center lately. Confused by her explanation, Puniru asks if children are like nutrition for her. Feeling completely hopeless, Karara holds onto her head in stress, exclaiming that she is at her limit of not being around kids. Kotaru tries to console her and asks why she has been so busy. Karara remarks that she has been helping out at a lot of places in preparation for the festival because she heard people needed extra hands. Kotaru admires her kindness as he calls Karara their holy mother. Kotaru ambitiously exclaims that Karara shouldn't bear all that burden alone. He swears to help her out to reduce her work, and Karara smiles warmly at his concern. Suddenly, Kotaru turns to Puniru, exclaiming that he counts on her to help Karara, and promises to get her cream soda in return. Karara appreciates the idea of having some cream soda, and wins Puniru over, who reluctantly exclaims that it can't be helped. Puniru adds some pom-poms from handicrafts and transforms into a cute cheerleader. She also uses her slime to dress Runrun as a cheerleader. Puniru cheerfully holds out her pom-poms, exclaiming that they will cheer for their tired Karara. Giving it her all, Puniru cheers for Karara with all her heart, as Runrun does Cutie-chan dance in the back. Impressed by Puniru's cheerleading skills, Karara encourages Puniru to keep going. Somehow, the tired senpai has ended up cheering for the cheerleaders. From some bushes nearby, Arisu angrily watches the friends, complaining why the robot is having fun with Puniru and the others. Hudai carefully corrects herself right as she calls Arisu young lady. She asks Arisu what's wrong, and Arisu angrily stomps off, claiming that it's nothing. Elsewhere, Puniru is explaining her trick to Kotaru, claiming that her cheerleading will end with an impressive stunt. Kotaru asks where she will get the people to pull that stunt off, and Puniru confidently some borax water to strengthen her body. She takes a railing and slides it down her body as it divides her into several pieces. Completely shocked and scared, Kotaro watches on as the different pieces align to perform the stunt. Kotaru exclaims that that stunt is creepy, and Puniru asks if Karara would. Kotaru's eyes saw a vision of the Holy Mother surrounded by cheerful children, when suddenly, Karara grabbed all the pieces of Puniru and thanked her for cheering her on. Feeling motivated and refreshed, Karara gets back to the festival preparations, and the trio go to enjoy some cream soda. Arisu cutely asks Kotaru to tell her how he really feels, but he blushes and says that he isn't sure, as he isn't interested in these kinds of things. Arisu gets mad and calls him a liar, saying he has asked her for these things before, at which he finally answers that Runrun looks cuter with a bow tie when compared to him having a ribbon. Arisu comments that Kotaru has a good eye for their products and he always wants more, but he shouts that he isn't interested in cute things. Hudai lets Kotaru know that it's an honor to be asked for our opinion by Arisu. Arisu plans to hand out keychains and handkerchiefs all over the school to show to everyone how cute Runrun is. Kotaru picks up a picture and comments that it's what Runrun originally looked like, which angers Arisu, who insists that this is how Runrun looks like, and he shouldn't mention the other thing. Arisu tells Hudai to send the Runrun bow tie to mass production as soon as possible, but Hudai gives the bad news that Runrun wants to wear the ribbon. At this, Arisu says she won't put it on her. Hudai worries as realizes that she has spent so much time in character that her inner Runrun has started to talk on its own. Kotaru asks if he can leave now and goes to find Puniru as it's time to go home now. He spots Puniru in a bad shape and asks her if she transformed again. Puniru doesn't talk, at which he asks her to say something, but Puniru melts into slime and says she isn't worthy to call herself something, at which Kotaru motivates her by telling her to do her usual cute thing, but she calls herself world's most not cute trash, at which Kotaru concludes that she has gone mad. In the science lab, Mato tells Kotaru that it's mold and warns him that if he touches something sticky in the current environment, then he will get germs, at which Kotaru says he won't touch Puniru. Puniru beats herself down by saying that she isn't cute and not worth talking to, which Kotaru finds annoying. Puniru cries by saying Kotaru doesn't like her and she tried so hard but got betrayed, so they won't be friends anymore, and takes out a rope to hang herself, at which Kotaru tries to stop her. But Puniru gets cut into two by the rope, at which she gets happy that she has someone to talk to despite being alone. Kotaru wonders if the mold transformed Puniru, just like the iron sand did earlier. Kotaru asks the doc if he can put Puniru back together, at which Doc gets angry at him for calling him by his nickname. Mado asks Kotaru if something like this happened before. Kotaru says that in all the time he spent with Puniru, something like this has never happened. The doc exclaims that he has figured out what happened and gives a complex, long-winded explanation, at which Kotaru tries to make his escape, but the doc shouts at him to not leave while he explains. Kotaru complains that it was too long and boring. Puniru feels bad that no one is interested in her, at which the doc says he's the most interested. The doc tries to explain, but fails, as they can't understand it. So he dumbs the explanation down and says that it's because Puniru is feeling down, which shocks Kotaru.